Hello students, today we are going to see a few examples for the LTI systems. Let's first see what is the step response for a given system. Like suppose I have an LTI system and the input to the LTI system is UT, where UT is the unit step function. So the output YT obtained in such a case is referred to as the step response for the given LTI system. Now, we are representing the step response by S of t. By using the convolution integral value, we know that our output y of t will be equal to the convolution of ht and xt. So here ht is representing the impulse response of the system and xt is representing the input. So in this case, we know that the value of xt or the input is equal to ut. So we can replace it in the expression. And then we can apply the formula for convolution integral. So it gives integration minus infinity to infinity, u of tau, h of t minus tau, d tau. Or we can take it the other way around also. Now, let us try to understand what is the significance of this ut minus tau. You know that unit step function exists only for the values of the time written in this bracket greater than equal to 0. So we can understand that this particular value of u will exist for t minus tau greater than equal to 0. This is given by the definition of the unit step function because we know that ut, initially ut is the unit step function. If ut is the function, so it will have a value 1 for values of t greater than equal to 0. So whatever is there in the bracket, now instead of t we have t minus tau. So whatever is there in the bracket that has to be greater than equal to 0, only then this function will have a value of 1, otherwise it will be 0. Now we are taking the integration in terms of tau. So we will represent this condition in terms of tau. So if I take tau to the right hand side of this particular inequality, so it becomes tau less than or equal to what will remain? T. Tau will be less than or equal to t. So for tau less than equal to t, the function of this ut minus tau is going to be equal to 1. And if we multiply anything with 1, then it will remain the same. Like I have x multiplied by 1, it gives the x only. So what I know that this complete function inside the integral will have a value of h tau into 1, that is h tau, when the value of tau is less than equal to t. So I can represent these limits. These limits are from minus infinity to infinity. I don't have to take the complete span now. I will take the limits as per this condition. So the limits become minus infinity to t because after t means the function is going to be 0. It remains h tau minus infinity to t, it is h tau d tau. So what we observe that y of t, what is y of t in this case? Y of t is nothing but the step response. So we can see the step response can be obtained by integrating the impulse response because ht or h tau is representing the impulse response. So this is a very important result that we can obtain the step response for a given system by just integrating the impulse response. And the opposite is also true, like we can obtain the impulse response by differentiating the step response. Because we know that differentiation and integration are means opposites of one another. So this can be represented in the form of this equation also. Now let us consider a small example of a continuous time LTI system. This is how generally the questions are asked in the exam. Like we are given the impulse response for the system h of t as e raised to the power minus at. Here a is greater than 0 and t is greater than 0. This is given to us. And the input is given as xt is equal to ut. We can represent the system means diagrammatically like this. So ut is our input yt is the output and ht is the impulse response, that is e raised to the power minus at. Now we are interested in finding the output, that is y of t. So how we proceed? We write the basic equation. Yt is given by the convolution of ht and xt. Here xt is equal to ut, so we can write ht convolution ut. We can represent this in the form of convolution integral as minus infinity to infinity h of tau u of t minus tau d tau. Further, we can substitute the value of h tau. Now we know ht. How we will find h tau? Just replace t by tau. So you get e raised to the power minus a tau. Why do we write u tau with it? We write u tau. This u tau is representing that this particular value of h tau will exist only for t greater than 0. Because we know that the unit step function exists for only positive values of t. So we are inserting this u tau, and then we have ut minus tau d tau. Now we have to integrate this. So this u tau, we know it is having a value of 1 for time tau greater than 0. And if we see this one, u of t minus tau, this will have a value of 1 for, again we will see the condition, what the condition will become for t minus tau again greater than equal to 0. So this is the condition when the value of this particular unit step function is 1. So using this condition, I again get tau less than equal to t. So tau should be less than equal to t, and as per this condition tau should be greater than 0. So the limits become 0 to t, and we replace these u functions by a value of 1. So what remains is e raised to the power minus a tau d tau. Then we integrate this particular function. On integrating and putting the limits, we obtain the final result as 1 upon a into 1 minus e raised to the power minus at ut. So this is the way we can find the output for a given system when its input and impulse response are given to us in the time domain. Here we have another example. So in this, what it is given, the impulse response is given to us. It is similar as in the previous question. And the input is different here. So input is e raised to the power at u of minus t. So using this particular case where we have the value of the input signal xt and the value of the impulse signal ht, we have to find yt. Again, what we are doing, we use the formula of convolution and we substitute the values. We arrange the limits in such a way that the conditions of ut are satisfied, and we integrate, and finally we put the values of the limits to obtain the final results. So these calculations you can do yourself. If you face any problem, you can post in the comment section. I will help you out. One thing I want you to note down here is, while solving these questions, you might have found that solving this particular integral is a tedious task. Like right now we are taking some examples which are not too tough in calculations. Like we are taking exponential signal, unit step signal, and so on. Now, as these signals become complex, as the values of ht and xt become complex functions in time domain, what happens? This particular integral becomes very difficult to calculate. So this is where the transforms which we have studied, transforms like Laplace transform, Fourier transform, Z transform, like some are for discrete time signals, some are for continuous time signals. So these transforms help out a lot. How they help, that we will see. See, one property you might have seen in all the transforms, that is related to convolution. That is the convolution theorem or the convolution property. What does it say in general? Like we say that the convolution in time domain is equivalent to the multiplication in the frequency domain. This is the definition. So if I am taking the convolution of two signals in the time domain, that will be equivalent to just multiplying their spectra in the frequency domain. Suppose I have a signal xt and ht. I am taking convolution of ht and xt. So taking convolution, we are finding it tough to calculate this integral. What we do then? We find the transform of ht. Let's say we find the Laplace transform of ht, which is hs. We find the transform of xt. Let's say it is x of s. So in the frequency domain, we just multiply them. And you know, multiplying two signals is very simple as compared to like finding out this complex integral. So in the frequency domain, it becomes easy to find out the output. So what we do, we take the transform of both the signals individually and then we just multiply them. And when I multiply h of s and x of s, I get what? I get y of s. Means output also we will get in the frequency domain. We get ys. So how I can find out yt using ys? That is a question. Yes, what we can do, we can take the inverse transform then. Suppose we are using Laplace transform and we get ys, so I will use inverse Laplace transform formulae to get the value of yt. So this is the way where solving such questions can become easy by the help of transforms. I hope it is clear. Thank you so much for watching the video.